paedophiles. Newsnight has learned that for all the police operations against such offenders, there remains a glaring failure in the way this crime is dealt with. For every image of child abuse, a crime has been committed somewhere. But Interpol have told us that Britain is sliding down the league of countries who are finding the victims and the criminals because we have no central database to store vital information on. We asked one of the UK's leading child protection experts, Mark Williams-Thomas, to investigate. And as you might expect, some of the content of his report is disturbing.
I'm Mark Williams-Thomas, and for over 20 years I've worked in the field of child protection, 12 years as a police detective. The British police are quite good in investigating and prosecuting those that possess and distribute indecent images of children. But I believe they're failing to do enough to identify victims. I think they can do better. Maybe we can learn from other international law enforcement organisations. And that is why I've come to Lyon in France, the headquarters of Interpol. Interpol's task is to help police combat international crime. They maintain a variety of international databases, including fingerprints, missing persons and stolen passports. I'm here at the Command and Coordination Centre. Officers here are tracking incidents that are happening all the way around the world, and we can see just how busy it is from this map, ranging from bombings, abductions and kidnaps of children, and even piracy. They can cross-reference against photos and DNA on known criminals. What is important to me is rescuing children who've been sexually abused. That is why I'm here. Interpol have a dedicated team that helps to identify and rescue children whose images and videos have been posted online.
This is a case that has come in now in the last couple of hours.
This is Detective Mick Moran, who coordinates the team that deals with crimes against children.
In a couple of minutes that this file was there, available for download, 650 people downloaded it. Okay? Now, they didn't download that by accident. They downloaded that knowing what it was.
So we've got a very young girl here who is performing oral sex on a man. And she's probably, well, 6 probably.
Okay. Yeah, I'd agree with that. Maybe younger. I'd say about
maybe
5,
younger,
maybe,
yeah. 5.
And she's been forced to carry out an act here.
The first part of this case is to give the police in each country the unique address of every computer that was used to download this appalling video.
And with a bit of luck, in some of those countries, there'll be searches done in the morning on that information. Right. Now, the second aspect of it is for us here, the more important aspect of it. That's just post office. Right? We're getting the information in, we're sending it on to the countries to deal with. Okay? We give them intelligence packs. The second aspect is the one more important here, is the identification of this victim. Right?
So this is a victim that is being currently abused.
Have a look at it there. This is a gross sexual assault being carried out on this child. Right?
And this is why victim identification is so important, because this girl here obviously knows the offender, I would say, and the offences that she's being made to commit are horrific offences, and she can be no more than 5 or 6 years old.
Correct. And this is the issue about calling it pornography, you see. For us, it's not pornography, it's a crime scene. This child is being abused. And we can do something about it. Is it possible that we can identify her and stop this abuse? Because one thing's for sure, the vast majority of child sexual abuse takes place within the home or the family circle. Absolutely. So one thing is statistically very likely is that this guy is her father.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Right? This guy who's orally raping her is her father. Straight away, at basic analysis level, we can see that she's white Caucasian, right? So we can see that she's...
The clues are here in this video. If they can find and identify them, they can rescue a child. Whilst we were there, they identified the country and exact city.
There's other articles in the background that are of interest, right? That particular article there could be very useful.
Before we left, they identified the offender's likely employer and immediately passed on all the information to the local police.
You realise that this is abuse that's happening right now, right this minute. And if I told you, now seriously, if I told you that there was a girl being raped down the corridor, you would kick walls in to get in there and assist her. So what's different about this?
Interpol has already shown that international cooperation is the key to saving children. I was talked through another case which resulted in a successful identification. So let's be clear, this is a baby being horrifically sexually abused.
Well, you've
and-
actually seen
and the brother.
seen 4 babies there, 4 different
There
babies,
are 4 different babies, are there?
right? In those 4 images.
Yeah.
Now, if we zoom in on that, see that?
Yeah.
See that word?
Yeah.
Can you make it out?
Yeah. The only chance they had to save these very young children from sexual abuse was through one country collecting all the material at a central point and sending it on to Interpol, enabling them to analyse and identify key clues.
Most importantly, because of this, it turned out to be a metro ticket. Sorry, Amy. It turned out to be a metro ticket. And because it's a metro ticket, it turned out to be a metro ticket. Now, to me, it looks like, yeah, I could guess it's a metro ticket. I could guess it's something like that. But when the officer from that country looked at this, he went, oh, that's a ticket from the metro in this city, and there's the station name.
So you've shown me horrific abuse of babies, very young children. The key and the most important thing was, did you save those children and did people get arrested?
Yes, as a result of the work done here and the result of the victim identification specialists working within the community, these kids were saved, right? Now, as it happens, these children were all being abused within a creche environment, a nursery, right? Mothers were leaving their children off to be minded, and the people who were running the creche were abusing the children. By locating the creche, they locate the victims. By locating the victims, they located the offenders, 2 men who had access to these children and who are now subsequently in prison.
We have seen how Interpol work, but does Britain have a similar system? The UK has no national database for child abuse material. The Child Exploitation and Online Protection Centre have called for one to exist, but I've learned that it'll be at least another 18 months before one is created. In the meantime, a chaotic system exists, with just 47 cases forwarded to CEOP last year. They did very well. They saved 22 children. But how many more could be rescued if a central database existed? Claire Perry is on the Justice Select Committee and is campaigning for tougher measures to combat child abuse material on the internet. Is it acceptable to wait 18 months for the creation of a national database for child abuse material?
I don't think it's acceptable to wait another day to sort this problem out. I mean, every day in this country we have children who are suffering the most appalling abuse and having images of that abuse put on the internet and distributed worldwide. We have to stop that, and one of the easiest ways to do that is to tag this data, work together to put it into a national database where it can be circulated amongst police forces and internationally. We know the technology exists, we know the police force want it, and we know that the victims deserve it. And I think we have to go and lobby ministers as hard as we can and make sure that this is put in place as soon as possible.
There needs to be this central point, and that central point doesn't exist in every country.
We've been shown the latest Interpol statistics of identified victims, and they suggest the UK is not doing very well. When you correct for population size, Norway is at the top with 33 per million, followed by Sweden at 15, Canada 6, Netherlands 5, Australia, Denmark and Belgium are all above 3, and the US, Switzerland and Germany are all above 2, while the UK scores just 1.5, not even in the top 10. Unlike those other countries, many of the UK's police forces are working in isolation and as a result are failing to coordinate victim identification. And this is why we need a national database now.